Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Thursday, May 9th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's Game 7 between the Avalanche and the Sharks, NBA playoffs, baseball, my second NBA mock draft, and it's going to be obviously my final one before the lottery is determined, and my best bet of the day. Alright, we'll start with the Game 7 between the Avalanche and the Sharks came out on top by a score of 3-2. The story of this game was that the Avalanche appeared to have tied the game at 2, and then the goal was overturned because Gabriel Landeskog went offsides, and Landeskog, after the game, took blame for it, which was, in my opinion, the right thing to do because he knows that he cost his team a chance to steal this game and go to the Western Conference Finals. We'll get to more about the Avalanche later on. First period, Joe Pavelski, about 6 minutes into the game, his first game back, his third of the postseason, 1-0 the Sharks. Thomas Hertl's 9th of the postseason, 2-0 Sharks. Then Mikko Rantanen, 6th of the playoffs, to make it a 2-1 game. Then the Sharks go up 3-1 on a goal by Jonas Desonki to go up 3-1. And then 51 seconds into the third period, Tyson Jost's third of the postseason made it a 3-2 game. Then the Avalanche pull the goaltender, and they don't get it done as San Jose moves on to the Western Conference Finals. They'll have home ice in their series against St. Louis. We'll preview and pick the winner today. Later on, when I have my buddy Doug on, we'll analyze the conference finals series, both the East and the West, give out our picks, and we'll obviously go over the series from the second round and what's next for the teams like the Avalanche who were eliminated. So, tonight begins the conference finals. Eastern Conference, Game 1, Hurricanes-Bruins, NBCSN at 8 o'clock. Doc Emrick, Eddie Olczyk, Brian Boucher on the call. This is going to be an interesting series. I'm obviously going to give out my series winner and how many games on the podcast later on with my buddy Doug. But I'm obviously going to pick the winner of Game 1 on the podcast. And with the team being at home, the Celtics season's over, so that city has to rally around something, and that something is the Bruins, who look poised, in my mind, to go on a run against another team that's poised, that's having a Cinderella type of season in the Hurricanes. So, give me the Bruins to win Game 1. I think it's close and competitive. I'm going to say it's a 4-3 game. I don't know if that means they win in overtime or it's just a 4-3 game and Carolina pulls their goaltender late. And the other thing with this game and in this series is, does Peter Mrazek return? I know they're going to be missing Trevor Van Riemsdyk. That's a big loss for Carolina on the blue line. But I really like this Boston team, and I think they're going to go out and win Game 1 tonight. All right, now we'll move on to the NBA, where there are 2 games last night, one blowout and one entertainingly close game, as I predicted. The Bucks destroyed the Celtics 116-91. The Bucks move on to the Eastern Conference Final. The Celtics season is over, as Giannis Antetokounmpo led the way yet again with 20 points, 8 boards, and 8 assists. He was the best player on the court last night. Chris Middleton had 19 with 8 boards. Eric Bledsoe had 18 with 6 boards. Nikola Mirotic had 10 with 11 boards. Off the bench, Ersan Ilyasova and Malcolm Brogdon each had 10. So Brogdon's back, so that's good news for the Bucks. And George Hill, who's been great for them in the postseason, had 16. Meanwhile, for Boston, Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, might be his final game as a Celtic, or might have been, I should say. 15 points. Jaylen Brown had 12. Jason Tatum had 14 with 6 boards. Marcus Morris had 14 off the bench. And it's just a disappointing season for the Celtics in my mind. They were the East favorites prior to the season. Everybody thought that Kyrie Irving was going to have a big year in a contract year. Everyone expected Jason Tatum to make a major leap. He didn't. Jaylen Brown was very good the final 4 months of the season. So he's an asset for them right now. Or a better asset than Jason Tatum, if you're looking at it. But I know the media and everybody thinks that Tatum will still be the better player long term, and as do I. Marcus Morris was up and down for them this season. Gordon Hayward had a nice little run, but he was bad in this series. So, a lot of decisions for the Celtics to make this summer. Obviously, another guy that's possibly could be a free agent is Al Horford, who has a player option for this year. So, we'll see how this team looks next year. And if I had to bet, I think it's dramatically different. Like, to the point where they might go into semi-rebuild mode. Or even they could go the other way and flip a lot of assets for Anthony Davis. But there's a lot of more teams in the Anthony Davis Derby than you think. So keep that in mind, guys. And in the wildly fun and entertaining game, the Warriors defeated the Rockets 104-99 to take a 3-2 series lead. The story of this game is that Kevin Durant, when many people thought was a torn Achilles, really just strained his calf. So he's probably going to be out for the rest of the series, and there's a chance that he'll be back and ready to go for the conference finals, assuming they win this series. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry really stepped up after Kevin Durant got hurt. This team could have crumbled. They didn't. And Curry and Thompson rallied the troops. So good for them. Klay had 27 points and 5 3-pointers and one big 3-pointer. In my mind, if Klay doesn't hit that shot, I believe he was out with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the game, then the Rockets are up 3-2. Steph had 25, 6, and 5. Durant before the injury had 22, 5, and 4. Draymond had 8 points, 12 boards, and 11 assists. Andre Iguodala had 11. Their bench didn't even do anything. I know Jonas Jerebko had a big shot in the game as well. Meanwhile for Houston, James Harden 31 points, 10 for 16 shooting with 8 assists, so he was solid. Eric Gordon had 19. PJ Tucker had 13. Chris Paul had 11 with 6 boards and 6 assists, and off the bench, Iman Shumpert had 11. So just random that Iman Shumpert's been hitting threes for them in this series. Now it goes back to Houston tomorrow night, 9 o'clock ESPN. Probably will be Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy because they always put their top guns on the top series. Unless they call one of the games tonight, which I doubt it now that this game is an ESPN game tomorrow night. So that should be that. And I think that the Rockets have immense pressure on them tomorrow to win and not have bad memories of 2 years ago when the Spurs didn't have Kawhi Leonard and they just went into Houston and blew out the Rockets and really put a stain on James Harden. And now it's the summer, obviously. That was right before they traded for Chris Paul. So it should be interesting to see how the Rockets come out and perform. And I checked the line. They are a whopping 7.5-point favorite at home, which to me is absolutely insane. That just shows that they obviously think that Durant's not playing, and I agree with that. I don't see him playing in this game. So to me, that line is ridiculously high. I'd put it at Rockets -6, maybe even 5. And if Durant was there, I'd say Rockets -2. And now let's move on to tonight. There are 2 games, ESPN doubleheader. Raptors 76ers. This is the first one. On the call to this game, I'm going to say it's Mark Jones and Hubie Brown because they did game 4. And I just assume that that's what they're going to do. Toronto's a 2-point road favorite. Joel Embiid is clearly not healthy in my mind. Yeah, they play well at home normally. They lost their last game they played in Philly, although that game was relatively close. And guess what? I think Toronto closes out tonight. I think Vegas is right. But I don't know if they're right in giving Toronto the minus. If anything, I would have made this game a pick'em because of home crowd Philly, and they made the Raptors a favorite in Philly in Game 3, and they have egg on their face, and then they made Philly a favorite in Game 4, then Toronto won. So to me, it should be a pick'em, but I'm going to take the Raptors to win, although I think it'll be very close. Kawhi Leonard will come up clutch. He'll be the best player on the court. Pascal Siakam looked a lot better in Game 5 than he did in Game 4. So give me Toronto by a score of 105-104. I think it's going to be that type of game. And it's going to come down to the last shot as Toronto punches its ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. 10:30 ESPN, the Nuggets and the Trailblazers. Portland's a 3.5-point favorite. On the call of this game will be Dave Pasch and Doris Burke, I believe, because that's who did the quadruple overtime game on ESPN. So that's who I assume is ESPN's going to assign to this game. This is a tough one. Portland has been great at home in the postseason. They obviously won that quadruple overtime game. They could have won that other game against the Nuggets, but Denver just found the way, keeping up that series. This is really tough. I picked Portland to win the series, but I really think that the loss of Cantor has hurt them offensively. And I really think that Nikola Jokic has emerged as the best player in the series. So give me the Nuggets to close out the Blazers tonight to advance to the Western Conference Finals as they wait for the winner of the Rockets-Warriors series. I don't feel great about the Nuggets pick, and I really don't feel super about the Raptors pick either, although I feel better about the Raptors than the Nuggets only because of Embiid's health, dooming Philly. So give me Denver to close out on the road. I think this is a close game too. 110-107. Denver closes out and advances to their first Western Conference Final in 10 years. Now we'll move on to baseball, where there were some interesting results yesterday. And then I'm going to look ahead to today's games, which a few of them are already underway. Rangers over the Pirates 9-6. The Rangers have been an overachiever this year. They're 17-17. Pittsburgh 17-16. The winning pitcher this game for the Texas Rangers, Ariel Gerardo. He's 1-1. Tyler Lyons, the loss, 1-1. Getting the save for the Rangers, Chris Martin. Shelby Miller started 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts, ERA 7.48. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh, Nick Kingham started 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, ERA 5.94. Diamondbacks over Rays 3-2 in 13 innings. So the Diamondbacks continue their surprising success. They're 21-16. Rays are 23-13. Archie Bradley gets the win. He's 2-3. The losing pitcher of this game, Adam Korlick, and Zach Godley getting the save. Robbie Ray started 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, ERA 3.3. Meanwhile, for Tampa Bay, Charlie Morton, 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, ERA 2.64. Brewers over the Nationals 7-3. Milwaukee's 23-16. Washington's 14-22. Brandon Woodruff the win 5-1. Jeremy Hellickson the loss 2-1. Josh Hader gets his 10th save of the season. Woodruff 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, 9 strikeouts, ERA 4.25. That was a pretty good start for him. Jeremy Hellickson 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 5.52. Phillies over the Cardinals 5-0. Phillies 21-15. St. Louis 21-16. Jared Eichhoff the win, he's 2-1. Jack Flaherty the loss 3-3. Eichhoff, 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 1.5. He's been great for Philly this year. Jack Flaherty, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 4.32. Padres over the Mets 3-2. The Padres are 21-17. The Mets are 17-20. The winning pitcher for San Diego, Gerardo Reyes, he's 2-0. The losing pitcher for the Mets, Tyler Blashaw, he's 0-1. Kirby Yates gets his major league leading 15th save of the season. Matt Strom started for San Diego, 6 in the third inning, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, 7 strikeouts, ERA of 3. Wilmer Font started for the Mets. He wasn't terrible. 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, no strikeout, ERA 4.5. Indians over the White Sox, 5-3. The Indians are 19-16. Chicago 16-19. Brad Hand gets the win. He's 2-1. Jace Friday lost 1-1. Good win for the Indians. They needed this one. Shane Bieber 6 in the third innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. ERA 3.32. Meanwhile, Reynaldo Lopez 6 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 2 strikeouts. ERA 6.38. Mariners over the Yankees 10-1. This is probably the worst loss the Yankees have had all year. They dropped to 21-15. Seattle's 20-19. Yusei Kikuchi gets the win. He's 2-1. Jonathan Weissig got the loss 1-1. Yusei Kikuchi 7 2/3 innings, 3 hits, and earned run, a walk, 3 strikeouts, ERA 3.54. The story of this game is that there's speculation that Kikuchi had pine tar. And meanwhile, for Jonathan Weissig, not the prettiest outing in the world. 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 4.5. Red Sox over the Orioles 2-1 in 12 innings. Boston's 19-19. Baltimore's 13-24. Ryan Brazier to win 2-1. Jeffrey Ramirez lost 0-1. Heath Henry gets his first save of the season. Chris Sale starting to look like the Chris Sale of old. 8 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, 14 strikeouts, ERA 4.5. Andrew Cashner 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, 5 strikeouts, ERA 4.25. Twins over the Blue Jays 9-1. The Twins are 23-12. Toronto is 15-22. Kyle Gibson the win. He's 3-1. Trent Thornton the loss 0-4. Gibson 6 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, 11 strikeouts, ERA 4.19. Trent Thornton 2 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout, ERA 5.06. Tigers over the Angels 10-3. Tigers are 16-17. Angels 16-20. Matt Boyd is 4-2. Tyler Skaggs is 3-3. Boyd 6 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 2.86. Tyler Skaggs 4 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 4.7. Cubs over the Marlins 3-2 on a walk-off home run by Jason Hayward. So back-to-back walk-off homers for the Chicago Cubs, who are 21-13. Miami's 10-26. Carl Edwards Jr. gets the win. He's 1-1. The losing pitcher for Miami, Jose Quijada. Starting for the Cubs today was Kyle Hendricks, 8 innings, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA 3.19. Jose Urena, 7 innings, 5 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 4.82. Astros over the Royals, 9-0. Good bounce-back win for Houston after a bad loss yesterday. They're 22-15. KC's 13-25. Brad Peacock the win, he's 3-2. Jorge Lopez the loss, 0-4. Brad Peacock, 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, 12 strikeouts, ERA 4.3. Jorge Lopez, 2 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 6.07. Athletics over the Reds, 5-4 in 13 innings. Oakland 17-21, Cincinnati 15-22. Liam Hendricks the win, he's 1-0. Robert Stevenson the loss, 2-1. This game ended on a walk-off homer by Stephen Piscotty. Brett Anderson, 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, no strikeouts, ERA 4.19. Sonny Gray, 4 in the third inning, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 4.15 in his Oakland return. Dodgers over Braves 9-4. The Dodgers are 25-14. Braves 18-19. Clayton Kershaw to win 2-0. Mike Foltynewicz to loss 0-2. Kershaw 6 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, ERA 3.31. Foltynewicz 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 5.94. Giants and Rockies was postponed due to rain. Underway right now are the Angels and the Tigers and the White Sox and the Indians. 2:20 you have the Marlins and the Cubs. Trevor Richards against Yu Darvish. Richards 0-4 with the 4.1 ERA. Darvish 2-3 with the 5.79. Giants Rockies. Derek Holland and Kyle Freeland. Holland 1-4 with the 5.34. Freeland 2-5 with the 5.9. 3:30 on the MLB Network. The Reds and the Athletics. Tanner Roark and Chris Bassett. Roark 2-1 with the 3.82. Bassett 1-0 with the 2.12. 6:35 Mariners Yankees. Mike Leake and Jay Happ. Leake 2-3 with the 4.91. Happ 1-3 with the 4.93. Pirates Cardinals at 7:45. Joe Musgrove and Michael Wacha. Musgrove 1-3 with the 2.63. Wacha 2-0 with the 5.17. Rangers Astros at 8 o'clock. Mike Minor against Wade Miley. Minor 3-2 with the 2.4. Miley 2-2 with the 3.2. Braves Diamondbacks at 9:40. Mike Soroka and Luke Weaver. Soroka 3-1 with the 1.14. Weaver 3-1 with the 3.29. 10 o'clock Nationals Dodgers. Patrick Corbin and Rich Hill. Corbin 2-1 with the 3.79. Rich Hill doesn't have a decision but has a 3.6 ERA. Nationals under immense pressure in my mind going into this series because they have been playing so poorly. Now I'm going to do my NBA mock draft, my second one of the year, and probably the last one before the lottery, which is Tuesday night. So without further ado, here we go. Number 1, New York Knicks. Zion Williamson, power forward, center, Duke. Wherever Williamson lands will immediately change the outlook of the franchise's future. Perhaps the best draft prospect since LeBron James. He is very athletic and will provide so much energy on the floor. Winning the Zion sweepstakes will make the Knicks the favorites to sign Kevin Durant this summer if they aren't already. 2, Cleveland Cavaliers. John Morant, point guard, Murray State. Morant is someone whose stock has absolutely tore up after a fantastic sophomore season. He certainly has his doubters since he played in the Ohio Valley Conference, but he has shown capabilities to be a franchise point guard. If the Cavaliers are the team that winds up the runners-up in the Zion sweepstakes, landing Morant wouldn't be the worst thing in the world as they pair him with Colin Sexton in the backcourt. 3, Phoenix Suns. R.J. Barrett, shooting guard, small forward, Duke. Barrett is somebody that got overshadowed this year at Duke because of the brilliance of Zion. He's a great athlete, but has to get better with his shot selection and become a better defender. Barrett could evolve as the second best all-around player from this draft if he lives up to potential as the Suns get a young wing player to go with their young core. 4, Chicago Bulls. Jarrett Culver, shooting guard, Texas Tech. This is where the draft becomes unpredictable. Culver is somebody that had a sensational sophomore season to become a projected top lottery pick. He's somebody that can shoot the ball and rebound well for his position. He and Zach LaVine would make an interesting backcourt pairing. 5, Atlanta Hawks. DeAndre Hunter, small forward, Virginia. Hunter is someone who is sensational for Virginia in their championship run. The Hawks have Trae Young running the point and John Collins up front, and adding a piece like Hunter on the wing would give them much-needed two-way perimeter play. 6, Washington Wizards. Kobe White, point guard, North Carolina. The Wizards are a team that's stuck in limbo with the awful John Wall contract and one really good asset in Bradley Beal, in which teams will demand if they lose out on big free agents this summer. White is somebody that had a great year in college, which is what rose his stock. He would likely start for the Wiz in his rookie season due to the fact that Wall might not even play next season due to his recovery from his injuries. 7, New Orleans Pelicans. Sekou Doumbouya, small forward, shooting guard, France. The Pelicans are a team that's under immense pressure at the draft due to Anthony Davis' future with the team and the fact that they need pieces to build around in case Davis leaves via trade or whether it's in free agency. Doumbouya is somebody that showed a good jump shot and quality defensive play too. The defensive side needs to be more proven once he is in the league full time. He is somebody that will probably be a bench player for the Pelicans that could see G League time if he needs more development time. 8, Memphis Grizzlies. Darius Garland, point guard, Vanderbilt. One of the biggest wildcards of this draft is Garland due to the fact that he missed most of the season with a knee injury. He would probably come off the bench if he were to be drafted by the Grizzlies unless they trade away Mike Conley. He's somebody that showed that he can shoot the three ball well as Dish. 9, Atlanta Hawks from the Dallas Mavericks. Jackson Hayes, center, Texas. Hayes is someone who developed later on in his high school days and carried it over to college. He shot for a high percentage this past season and showed an ability to protect the rim. In this scenario, he'd come in and possibly start alongside John Collins unless they upgrade the center position in free agency. 10, Minnesota Timberwolves. Cam Reddish, small forward, Duke. Reddish, like R.J. Barrett, is somebody that was overshadowed on the Blue Devils squad because of Zion's presence. Reddish did not shoot the ball well at times throughout the season, and he needs to develop that consistent shot in the pros. If he does that, then the Timberwolves got themselves another building block to go with Karl Anthony Towns. 11, Los Angeles Lakers. Nasir Little, small forward, North Carolina. This is a pick that I can see traded as the Lakers go star hunting to pair somebody with LeBron James. Little is somebody who had an uneven season with North Carolina to the point where Kobe White became the best freshman on the team. He showed flashes of good shooting and always has been a great athlete. If the Lakers were to keep the pick, he'd be someone that will in all likelihood be a bench guy for them. 12. Charlotte Hornets. Bull, center, Oregon. The Hornets are a team that's under pressure at the draft since they are facing losing Kemba Walker this summer, and they need a young asset to build around in case Walker leaves. Bull is somebody who is a low basement, high ceiling player that missed most of his freshman season due to a foot injury. He can protect the rim and shoot the three ball pretty well, too, for a 7-footer. 13. Miami Heat. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, shooting guard, Virginia Tech. Alexander Walker had a great sophomore season for improving his draft stock. What makes him a hot commodity is that he can guard multiple positions and play on and off the ball. The Heat are a team that could use two-way guard help, and Alexander Walker can provide that. 14. Boston Celtics from the Sacramento Kings. P.J. Washington, power forward, Kentucky. This pick I can see being shopped if the Celtics choose to chase a star via trade. Washington is somebody that has the talent of a lottery pick with his ability to stretch the floor. If the Celtics choose to keep the pick, Washington is somebody that could possibly start depending on what happens with their current roster. 15. Detroit Pistons. Tyler Herro, shooting guard, Kentucky. Herro is somebody that is a very fast riser of late. He's someone that can flat out shoot the ball, and the Pistons are a team that needs outside perimeter shooting badly. If they take Herro, it would not shock me if he ends up being a big contributor immediately. 16. Orlando Magic. Keldon Johnson, small forward, Kentucky. The Magic are a team that are facing interesting decisions this offseason regarding their roster. Johnson is somebody that can come in and develop with a team that is notoriously known for not developing that well. But he can shoot the three ball well, but has to develop more defensively. 17. The Brooklyn Nets. Romeo Langford, shooting guard, Indiana. Langford is someone that could possibly go in the top 10, so the Nets could be getting a steal here. He's somebody that played with a torn labrum this past season, which probably held them back. If the Nets lose D'Angelo Russell this summer, they may have a need for a young guard. If his shooting improves, he could be a real player for them next season. 18. Indiana Pacers. KZ Okpala, small forward, Stanford. Okpala is somebody whose stock has risen at the moment due to his length and wingspan. The Pacers' depth at wing is outside of Victor Oladipo is thin, especially if they let go of Bojan Bogdanovic this summer. The Pacers probably would have Okpala come off the bench for them and have a veteran start at the 3. 19. The San Antonio Spurs. Rui Hachimura, small forward, Gonzaga. Hachimura is somebody that is super talented and really took his game a notch up this past season. Snagging somebody with lottery pick talent at this point would be classic Spurs steal. He probably would be a bench player for the Spurs as a rookie and maybe could develop into a starter within the next few years. 20. The Boston Celtics from the Los Angeles Clippers. Bruno Fernando, center, Maryland. Fernando is somebody that has tantalizing upside that averaged a double-double this past season. He has an NBA-ready body and could be a contributor for the Celtics off the bench. 21. Oklahoma City Thunder. Kevin Porter Jr., shooting guard, USC. Porter is somebody that is a lottery talent and that could drop this far due to injuries and suspension he had in college. If Porter lived up to the expectations that was given before college, the Thunder could be getting a steal here. 22. Boston Celtics. Ty Jerome, point guard, shooting guard, Virginia. Jerome is somebody that was very good in Virginia's championship run. He's somebody that is versatile and that could defend multiple positions very well. The Celtics might lose Kyrie Irving this summer, so they can use more depth and versatility at the position. 23. Utah Jazz. Brandon Clark, power forward, Gonzaga. The second Gonzaga player comes off the board here with Clark, who would fill a long-term position of need for the Jazz. He provides energy and great two-way play, and he is somebody the analytic nerds would love with his high PER this past season in college. 24. Philadelphia 76ers. Cameron Johnson, small forward, North Carolina. Johnson is somebody that was a very steady player in college for the Tar Heels. He's someone that can defend pretty well and shoots the three ball well. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes higher than this or if he goes in the second round. The Sixers could use more forward depth because they could lose Tobias Harris and or Jimmy Butler this summer. 25, Portland Trailblazers. Mfiondu Kabengele, power forward center, Florida State. Kabengele is somebody whose stock has risen of late. The Blazers are a team that actually has some depth up front, but will probably lose Enes Kanter in free agency, and Kabengele is somebody that provides versatility and defends well. 26, Cleveland Cavaliers via Houston Rockets. Talen Horton-Tucker, shooting guard, small forward, Iowa State. Horton-Tucker is somebody that had a very good year with the Cyclones this past season as a freshman, which got him to this position. The Cavs are a team that could afford to take chances on overachievers this far in the draft, and Horton-Tucker would be someone that would provide solid minutes for them. 27, Brooklyn Nets from the Denver Nuggets. Grant Williams, power forward, Tennessee. The two-time SEC Player of the Year falls to the end of the first round, which can end up being a steal for the Nets. He's somebody who's not athletic or has a good perimeter game, but he can score in the post and could adjust to the league better than people think. 28, Golden State Warriors. Lewis King, small forward, Oregon. King is somebody that has a lot of potential and showed it in his lone college season, especially after he came back from his injury. The Warriors are almost certainly losing Kevin Durant this summer, so it makes sense for them to pick somebody that has potential at the position. 29, San Antonio Spurs from the Toronto Raptors. Dylan Windler, shooting guard, small forward, Belmont. Windler is somebody that is very underrated coming into the draft. He's somebody that can flat out score, shoot it from three, and space the floor well. 30, Milwaukee Bucks. Daniel Gafford, center, Arkansas. Gafford is somebody that could have been drafted last year, but decided to come back to school for his sophomore season. He has tantalizing upside and is somebody that, if the Bucks were to take here, would make a possible immediate contribution, especially if Brook Lopez bolts this summer. Now up is my best bet of the day, brought to you by DraftKings. I got some interesting choices. We have a couple big Game 6s. You have the Game 1 in hockey. Obviously, you got baseball. So without further ado, here we go. In the NBA, we'll go with the Raptors. We'll go with the Portland Trailblazers. I'll go with the Nuggets. I didn't mean to say Blazers. NHL, we'll go with Boston. In baseball, we'll touch the Oakland Athletics. I like how Chris Bassett's pitched. The Yankees would be an interesting choice, but J-Happ doesn't pitch well at home, and they obviously have all those injuries. We'll take the Astros and Wade Miley, as well as the Rangers have looked. I don't want to even touch the Rangers because I just don't trust them. That's 5. 17.27. I'm going to wager 80 cents, pay out of $14.62. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Go over the NBA games. We'll talk baseball, maybe an NHL mock draft, and obviously my best bet for tomorrow. Keep an eye out for my podcast later on with my buddy Doug as we preview the Eastern and Western Conference Finals in hockey and recap the second round. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.